Jeff, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've had a great week here. It's been a fantastic week.
So far, so good?
It's last day today, but it's been probably one of the best sort of experiences I've had as a photographer, presenting what I do to other photographers. It's been a really good experience. The photographers you have here are very passionate. The photography is still in its, I would say, in its kind of infancy with regard to if you compare it to, say, America or Australia or whatever, it's still very much in its kind of infancy, but people are really passionate about taking the whole wedding photography thing forward, and it's come across really well this week.
Have you seen Bucharest? Did you have time?
Yes, for a few hours. Yes, we had a guided tour of Bucharest. It was kind of like cafe, bar, monument, bar, monument. Bar. Yeah, it was that kind of thing.
Only
but it was good.
It was good. Yeah, and how do you see it?
Bucharest is really. I've also been to a lot of European cities. I kind of see it like a city in transition almost. There's a lot of old and there's a lot of new, which is really great. It's like London in that kind of respect. And I think, the way that the city is presented really says so much about sort of Romanian culture and everything, which is something which every good city should have. Say something about what's happened in the past and what's happening in the future, and it's very much a city that is looking forward rather than backward. That's the impression I get, which is really cool.
I've heard you are the best.
Oh, of my mother? My mother's told you this?
No.
My wife's told you this?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just read, I just read, and you are the best.
I don't think I'm the best by any stretch of imagination.
What makes you so different?
I think in photography, the most important thing for any photographer is to define who they are as a person through their pictures. And if you have a photographic discipline which involves earning a living from, so you're asking people to spend money on you to take their pictures, whether it's weddings or portraits or whatever. One of the things is that photographers worry about clients and their expectations, and they tend to go with what they think will appeal to the clients, rather than going what's true to their heart and letting the clients understand what they're doing and appreciate what the photographer is doing, and therefore buy into what the photographer is doing. And for me, it's always been a passion to be a photographer. I've been a photographer now for 26 years. It's all I've ever known as an adult, photography. And when I first started, one of the problems that I had was adapting to this preconceived idea of what photographing somebody's wedding was. So very early on, I decided if I was going to be a photographer, I was going to be a photographer that was going to take photographs the way that I wanted to, the way I felt about taking photographs, and in a way that defined me as a person as well as a photographer. And I think if there's success, if you want to call it that, has come about because I'm very, very adamant that what I take is what I want to take, and I'm very passionate about what I take. And I don't really care what the photography industry thinks of it, and to a certain point, I don't go chasing certain clients. I let my clients see my work and come to me because they like what I do. So my clients completely understand that on their wedding day, they will have very little input into the photography. It will be left entirely up to myself and my wife Sarah, who photographs. And that's how we've kind of, if you like, become successful, by kind of trying to be ourselves. And by being ourselves, we ended up being quite different from everybody else. And that's what a lot of clients wanted.
Have you started as a portrait photographer?
I did very, very early on, yes. I started off working for my parents. That's how I got into photography. To cut a long story short, my father had a studio which he was due to take over, if you like, when he retired from his position in the university. Unfortunately, he never retired, so I was left to kind of run the studio and so on. But at the time, the majority of the work was portraits. And I got into weddings because the portrait clients basically asked me if I would take their wedding for them, and that's how I got into the whole wedding. That's how I started as a wedding photographer.
And your first camera? What was your
first camera? I think my first camera was a Hasselblad. I think it was a 500C.
Do you have it? Do you still have it?
I have a later one. I don't have the original one. I think the original one fell apart. So I don't. But I have all my other cameras. I just don't have that very first one.
Do you have old cameras? Do you keep that?
No, I only have cameras which have been significant in my career.
Okay.
I have like my
that you work with.
Yes,
okay.
or that means something to me.
Okay.
I have my very first 35mm Canon camera still. And it still works, but it looks like it's been to a war and back. It was never designed for professional use.
It's a vintage now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's very
for all
vintage.
times.
Very vintage.
Yeah.
And I have the other cameras, the other film cameras, which kind of meant something to me, and
okay.
They're just in my home. But I don't collect cameras. I'm not a collector or anything like that.
You don't do that.
No.
Okay. We have to do here in Romania. We have a custom. We have to do pictures with grandma, with mother, with other, friends. It's the same?
It's very much the same in the UK, yes. I've done Romanian weddings in the UK, so I understand how...
Really?
Yeah. And
nice.
I understand, but the Romanian, it's really, really interesting because the Romanian weddings that I did in the UK only had maybe one or maybe two family pictures, and the rest was as it happened. And it was the same with his Serbian, Greek, Croatian, all those kind of weddings that I've done through the years. The girls, the brides who are in the UK are obviously of a different generation, and they see what's available through what we do, and they say, yeah, we want that for our pictures.
Okay.
And it may be that the families might not be too happy because this isn't traditional.
Yeah.
But what tends to happen is that once they see the photographs, the families tend to be converted. I mean, I remember one Serbian wedding that I did, and the bride's mother was insistent that we took these pictures, and the bride all day says, no, we're not doing this. This is how we're going to let Jeff do this. And when Mum saw the photographs and she saw her grandmother, she was in tears.
Oh,
and she said, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And the bride, I told you so, Mum. I told you so.
Shut up.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Shut up. Do you have this concept of trash the dress?
We have the concept. I've never really understood
because
the concept.
Here it's crazy. It's crazy with this.
It's an American idea.
Yeah.
It came from the States. It started off, as I understand it, as a way of photographers being able to continue a relationship after the wedding day with the couples, with the clients. It also became quite a big thing for all the bridal blogs because any sort of stage thing was there, and it's kind of caught on. I've never actually ever done it.
No.
I'm a bit reluctant to ask a bride who spent a lot of money on a dress to go into a field or a stream.
Exactly. I feel the same. Why
thing.
do you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, why do you have to do that with your dress?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Why everybody's doing this?
It's just a trend. I think it'll change. For me, as a photographer, I actually think that Eastern Europe now is starting to become influential in terms of photography. If you go to America now and go and see the award systems in America, the international awards, there's a lot of Eastern European photographers winning awards with some absolutely fantastic photography.
Okay.
And I think what's going to happen is, ironically, is that I think that you guys are going to be the ones that are going to start doing the things that the Americans and the Australians and the English will take over eventually. Yeah. Because it's all exciting and new, and it's different for the photographers here, so they're always trying something different.
So what's new then in photography?
I think it goes in cycles. I think we had a big cycle in the 90s where everything was colour, and then it went to black and white, and then the start of this century it was back to sort of colour, and then mixed colour and black and white. It just goes in sort of fashions, I think. I think with the technology that's available now, the digital technology, I think there's a lot more experimentation happening now with photography, which is very, very good. And I think the lenses that are available and the optics and the flash technology is making photographers become more aware of what's possible. And in the UK at the moment, the big thing is to have artificial lighting and receptions.
And you don't like it?
I don't. It's not my kind of thing, but it's the thing in there at the moment. They have lights set up in the reception, so everything's remote controlled, and so if you like, the photographer is almost getting a nightclub feel to the pictures, even though that it might not be there. So
Yes.
that's something that's happening quite a few, but that's driven by the technology primarily, because we can do that now.
So, do you have a best picture of yours?
I have a picture which is my favorite. I wouldn't say a best picture, because had you quantified
yes, I know
best,
your picture are all the best. I know that.
You're too kind.
But
I have a picture of a bride that's at the top of an aisle in a wedding in London, and she's just praying. And the reason why that's my favorite picture, and probably will always remain my favorite picture, is because the circumstances that led to that picture were incredibly stressful for me as a photographer. We were in London. I had to get from her house to the ceremony. We had plenty of time, and en route there was a gas main or a water main burst, and we were stuck in traffic, and we could not get to the place in time.
Yeah.
And in the end, I managed to jump out of my car, find a cab, jump into the cab, and the cab got me to the thing. And I turned up, I think it was 20 or 30 seconds before the bride.
Wow.
And obviously stress levels are up, blood pressure's up, and it's kind of, and I got to the end of the aisle, and I just saw her walk into this pool of light, and she started praying. I took the photograph.
Oh my God.
And then it was like, that's it. Everything went away, the stress went away. The picture was perfect as far as I'm concerned for that particular moment. And it just reinforced to me that photography has that ability for me to be able to just stop everything.
Everything, yes.
Just for that moment, just to concentrate on that one photograph, and all the stress, all the anxiety just disappeared. And from then on, the wedding was fantastic. So photography is kind of can be like a healing thing for me. And that picture will always remind me of how I was feeling before I took the picture, and how I was feeling after I took the picture.
Yeah,
and that's what it is to me.
Is photography beautiful beyond all this digital and technology and all this stuff, all these lights?
For me, photography is two things. It's, as a photographer, you see the world differently to a non-photographer. I guess it's the same if you're a painter, or if you're a movie director or whatever. You see the world differently. I see the world in terms of lines and shapes and light and dark and expression and those sort of things. I don't see the world in terms of how to describe it. It's more of a visual thing. Everything is visual to me with the world. If I go into a room such as the one we're in now, first thing I see is lines on a table, lines, shapes, windows, light.
If you have an empty room, what do you see beautiful in that room as a photographer?
As a photographer, it would always be the light, or something that would be.
You search for something?
Yeah, I suppose subconsciously I do. There's this idea that photographers can take pictures without actually having a camera. Does that make sense? It's you have
I understand.
You take little snapshots all the time, almost subconsciously of everything around you. And that's how I see the world. And if you come into a space or a situation where everything works together visually, then that is a beautiful thing for me. That's how I... for example, if I was on holiday and I saw a beautiful sunset, the sunset wouldn't be beautiful until maybe a boat came across and the boat kind of filled a space there. Then that sunset would be beautiful. That's
the whole picture.
Yeah. That's how I kind of see the world, really. You know.
Do you use your phone to make pictures?
I would never use a phone professionally. I know there are photographers now who think it's kind of cool to use iPhones on weddings, but no, I wouldn't. No, you can't see what you see through an iPhone. Unfortunately, you can't. You can make snapshots, and you can record little bits, and you can make little pictures, but you can't expand your vision through an iPhone. You have to use proper photography equipment these days.
That's true. Do you take yourself picture? pictures?
What, selfies?
Yeah.
As we call selfies? Very rarely.
Why?
It's my daughter will do it. I mean, she's
Okay.
17. I mean, my daughter does it all
Of
the
course.
time. It's a generational thing.
course, yeah.
I've always been quite uncomfortable in front of the camera. I'm always been preferred to be behind the camera. As a person, I'm actually quite a shy person. And
Yeah, all photographers are.
Yes. It's weird.
Why? Is it something?
I think it's because I'm quite shy. So the only way I can say here I am, here is me, is through my pictures.
Yes.
And I think photographers that are good at what they do tend to prefer to express themselves through photography rather than their own personalities. So I would rather be expressing myself behind a camera instead of in front of a camera, but that's just how I am.
I saw your blog, and I saw that you are more into black and white than
Color.
the color. Yes. Why?
Black and white is what I started in photography with. My own dark room, processing the images, printing the images. Color to me was always a commercial medium. Black and white was always a medium which made sense to me. My photography is, a lot of the time my photography is about lines and shapes and light and emphasizing a particular part of a picture. Color can be quite a distraction. Because and also as humans we always see the world in color. So for me, if you want to make a statement, is produce something which isn't normal to see. Black and white can be very dramatic,
Yes.
or it can be very solemn, or it can be very atmospheric.
Unique.
Yeah. And color, we see the world in color, so color doesn't have the same
It's
kind
enough.
of impact. Yeah.
It's enough.
Yeah. Very much.
What is the picture that you haven't done yet?
The picture that I haven't done yet.
Yeah. And you want to do it.
That I want to
course.
do. Let me think. I would like to go on safari, and I would dearly love to go and be involved in some of the conservation projects that are happening in Africa, particularly with rhinos and elephants. And that's what as a photographer at the moment, that's the one thing. If somebody said to me, come out to Kenya or whatever, go and take some pictures and how you would take your photographs and show, these beautiful animals in their environment and so on. That's something I've never done before. I've never done wildlife.
Why didn't you do it?
I think it's only now that it's kind of appealing. As I'm getting older, I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, and you're kind of looking for different ways to express yourself.
Let's make a wedding in Africa.
Yeah, that would be a little bit different. That might be
Not too much, but different.
Yeah.
That would be different.
Yeah, it would be actually.
You've never been to a Romanian wedding, right?
I've done Romanian weddings in the UK, but not in Romania.
Not here.
No, not in Romania.
You have to be here to see a wedding.
So they tell me.
Yes. We party until 6 a.m., I think, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there you will have the best pictures ever. Okay, can we play with pictures
Play with
for
pictures?
2 minutes? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll make you some pictures,
Yeah.
and then you will make me some pictures.
Okay.
Do you want that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
My wife is a photographer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I know. You work together?
yeah, all the time now. Yeah. She'll be better than me. Seriously.
Come on.
No, seriously. She
Really?
will. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because if you take where she is now,
Yeah.
she's been photographing for a couple of years. Her work after 2 years is better than any other female wedding photographer in the UK.
She wants to do
You
the
know.
wedding photos, the same as you?
No. She has her own way of doing things. I've been around photographers for a long time, and I know she's my wife, and it might sound I'm a little bit biased, but when she first started taking pictures, we had this agreement that if I didn't think she was good enough, then I could say, look, don't get involved. And she's the work that she produces, given how level of experience is quite amazing. It's absolutely
She learned
quite
from the
amazing.
best.
She's okay. She's had that kind of education, but she's definitely decided to, and I've encouraged it, is to try and develop her own way of seeing the world, and she's doing that. And she will be in 5 years' time. She will be a better photographer than I am, without any shadow of a doubt. She has a natural ability to see things.
Congratulations for
Which is
that.
really great.
Okay, let's make a selfie. I'll do it.
You got to do a selfie, okay?
I'll do it, and then you'll do it.
And I'll do a selfie.
Yes.
Okay.
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 With the lights. Oh God. You do it.
Oh, you want me to do a selfie?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I have to do a selfie. Let's get this in here.
The best selfie.
The best selfie.
Yes. By the
Yes.
best photographer.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good. I'm so not used to this. Where do I press?
Here.
Okay. Oh, we got the camera in the wrong way
Wait.
round. Let's go this way. Go this way. Let's go this way. That way. That way. Oh, there's my finger. How do I get my finger out of the way?
Like this.
Okay.
I'll press. Okay.
You press. You press. So again, that's
Is it good? Like this? The lights?
That's
No
pretty
lights.
Good. That's good. That's it. Go with that one. Go
He
with that
doesn't like the lights. Okay.
one. You have to
Okay.
do silly expression.
Yeah. And with your camera?
With my camera now.
Give me a portrait.
A portrait. Oh,
Yeah.
I need to get this light right then, don't I? I'm gonna have to.
I will stay like a muse.
Stay like a muse.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
Like,
see what we can do. Okay.
Do
Let me
it.
get the video guy in the back. That's really cool. I like that actually. Yeah, you can stay there. Yeah, you stay there. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Just hold it there. Lovely. Fabulous. There you go. Excellent.
Okay. And with my phone, so I can have it and show it to my
Right.
friends.
So we're gonna try and get a big area there. Let's. Oh, we got a big light. Whoops.
No
Oh,
lights.
it's silly. I think you got a message.
No message. Like.
They didn't like it. There was a message. There we go. We got it. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Hold on. I got this big light behind you. I'm just going to move. Oh. Oh, we got a big light behind you. That's no good. There we go. Right. Turn
In
to
my
me.
head?
Turn to me. Turn to me. Turn to me. Beautiful. There you go. Lovely. There you go.
Thank you very
something.
much.
It's a
It was a
pleasure.
pleasure, and congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.